the lady. So the one that knows teaches us that if someone has ordained as a monk for only one day, if he knows the characteristic of arising and cessation, then his life has use, his life has meaning, much, much more than the person that is ordained for 100 years. I have discussed this with friends in the past, and many people have thought that raising the hand is arising and lowering the hand is cessation, that blinking the eye open is arising and blinking it closed is cessation, that breathing in is arising and breathing out is cessation. This is understanding arising and cessation. This is the understanding of those that as yet do not know. It is because they do not know dependent co-arising. So when one doesn't know the dependent co-arising within oneself, then this is simply to be attached to ignorance. The avijja, ignorance or not knowing, means simply that we do not know dukkha, suffering. We do not know the end of dukkha, and we do not know the way to put an end to dukkha. This body we cannot develop and we cannot extinguish it. But the mind, it can be developed and it can be extinguished. I have heard my father and teachers and elders speaking of this matter and saying that the Buddha cut his hair just one time, and after he's cut his hair that one time, it did not grow again. So this is a parable, and like all parables, it has truth, and in this case it refers to the actual Dharma, and somebody that has sati and has panya can understand this matter, can consider and understand it. The hair on the head is the same for each person, and the Buddha was just a normal person, so in fact when the Buddha cut his hair it grew again, and then he cut it and it grew again, just like everyone. So the Buddha was just an ordinary person. So this is just the law of nature. Jnana means that we cut it, we stop it. So when we know the law of nature, then we have this knowledge arising, and we will know to the very end of dukkha. This dharma of knowing to the ending of suffering, if we hear someone else speak of it and we remember it, that is not the thing itself. And if we think about it, that is not the thing itself. We cannot know it before. We have to see, know and understand it. We have to be it, therefore we will know. So when we hear that the Buddha cut his hair just one time, this means that for someone that has jnana, someone that has seeing clearly and knowing really, the ignorance, the not knowing and the suffering cannot arise again. At that time, when I was a layman, my hair was long, but long in a normal way, not long like the people nowadays. When it was 5 o'clock in the morning on that day as I was practicing Dharma, that I came to understand about this matter. I have taught about this a lot. Most people do not understand, and I go ahead and teach a number of comparisons. For example, if we stretch some rope tightly between two posts and we tie it to those two posts, if it is tight and we cut that string in the middle, then we cannot tie it again, we cannot use it again. So if we tie it again in the middle, we untie it at one end and tie it again in the middle, then we cannot tie it back again at that end. Similarly, if we tie it in the middle and we untie it from the other end, then we cannot tie it back at that end again. I understood in this way that this was how the Buddha's hair could not grow again. So this is the way in which once the suffering or the not knowing is cut, it cannot come again. In the same way as this rope, when it is cut, we cannot use it again. But if there is something that is of real use, then it can be used again. So this is how the Buddha with the jnana of panya cut ignorance just the one time. All of you that are listening right now, at this moment, with sati panya, you can do the same thing. So you have to see dukkha, you have to see what is dukkha, the thing that is causing trouble, that causes distress. So the Buddha teaches us dependent co-arising, that this ignorance is the condition for the arising of sankhara. Sankhara means the thing that is tied up, the thing that is knotted. It is not a matter of the body, but is a matter of the mind. So if you understand this only in terms of understanding the words, then it is not the real thing, it is not the same thing that the Buddha knew, because the thing that the Buddha knew was there all the time and not changing. So right now, all of you that are listening, whether you are monks or whether you are lay people, your mind is not concocting and building anything. Right now your mind is indifferent, neutral, and it is not thinking about anything in particular. When we know like this, then we must live like this, we must do like this. And this is called following the Buddha. So this following of the Buddha, or following the way of the Buddha, is not a matter of following by foot or following by hand, following through the body, but it is following through having satipanya, seeing clearly and knowing really, and this is to follow the way of the Buddha. This seeing and knowing of the characteristic of arising and cessation, we have to have jnana panya enter and cut the ignorance, cut the not knowing, and then we will see it clearly, we will know it really within our own life and mind. I will give an example to illustrate jnana panya. This jnana panya is simply words, but when we give an example, some people may understand. It is like boring a hole through the wood. At first, when we bore, we cannot see through the wood, but even when we can get through to the other side, we can still not see clearly through there. We have to bore or screw out this hole again and again until it is clear and we can see through. So I am speaking about these matters simply for you to hear. You need not think about anything in particular or hold any opinions. You just have to listen. So as I have taught, when we reach the end, it is like the nylon rope, like the rope being cut and it cannot be joined again. Or it is like a tree that is uprooted and cannot grow again. So it is like something that has been totally eradicated. It cannot arise again. It is like cotton which will not soak up the water. The water cannot enter the cotton. For someone that is a patujana, it's like when we press against the skin of a baby. When we press the finger against the skin of the baby, we take our finger away, then a red colour arises. When we do this with our own hand, we press, then the colour that comes up is white. Someone who has satipanya will understand this, but the patujana will not understand. Someone that knows already, that sees and understands, he understands immediately. But someone that doesn't know, they don't understand this at all. Someone that has sila, that has normality, he has normality and view together, and this having of being normal and seeing with the normal view is seeing, knowing and understanding in the way of the Buddha. It is following the way of the Buddha. If we do not have sati to watch the mind, then we will not know about this. But if we have sati, then we will understand the mind, we will see the mind, we will see, know and understand something that we have never been in touch with before. When we see and know, and when we are already, then we will have jnana arise. When we have it and we are it, jnana will therefore arise. Then we will know the same thing. However one speaks, we will understand it, if we are one that knows. When we reach the end, there will be jnana, there will be knowledge. The knowledge will be about what at the moment we do not know. When we reach the end, I will speak about my own experience, walking backwards and forwards. When I reach the end, when I saw and knew and was, then jnana arises, and one has normality through the body, normality through speech, and normality through the mind. And anything that is abnormal, as it is arising, it is